Good afternoon, everyone. My name is CHHIM SOTHEARA. I am an Executive Director of the Transcultural Psychosocial Organization, Cambodia. Today, I'm pleased to share with you about the mental health developments, about the challenge and the experience of TPO in doing mental health work in Cambodia. To start my presentations, I want to show you a prophecy. A prophecy is something that everyone in Cambodia heard before the fall of the Khmer Rouge. And at that time, I was a child. I also heard this. It said darkness will settle on the people of Cambodia. There will be houses, but no people in, roads, but no traveler upon. The land will be ruled by barbarians with no religion. The blood will be so high as to touch the belly of the elephants. Only the deaf and the mute will survive. At the time, I heard this, but I do not know what was that about. So until 17 April 1975, the Khmer Rouge communists took over the country and what they say, they liberate the country. And then they start to evacuate people out of the cities to live in the rural area. So you can see there are houses, but no people in, because the Khmer Rouge empty the cities. There are road, but no traveler. You can see there was road in the city, there was road. In every city there was road, but no one travel on the road, because they all was evacuated out of the city to live in the rural area. And everyone was forced to work hard, working in the forced labor like this. So I remember when I see this boy photo, it's remember of me working under the Khmer Rouge during that time. And then as a result, so many Cambodian killed, almost 2 million Cambodian killed because of starvations, execution, tortures, illness, etc., etc. And after the Khmer Rouge, everyone confused, everyone gets sick, everyone demoralized, everyone depressed. So we all was allowed to return back to their home because the Khmer Rouge ran away. So we come back home with all this. And now I want to present you a Cambodian trauma syndrome called baksbat. This is because many foreigners think that Cambodian people who suffer a lot of traumatic experience under the Khmer Rouge, they must have high rates of PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. But in fact, it's not true, because the rate of PTSD in Cambodia is very low, 1 or 2% or something. And this is maybe why is that? Because I think maybe Cambodian culture play a role in this, as the culture shapes and give the meanings to the whole human experience, including traumatic event. And maybe PTSD, this is the one that developed in Western country, but this one cannot capture the problem in non-Western country like Cambodia. So our culture is different. Our way of responding to trauma, to mental health problem, our way of making sense of the problem are different. So that's why could be the difference. Maybe a conspiracy of silence, because the therapist and the survivor experience the same trauma, so they maybe unconsciously don't talk about. So when they don't talk about, they may not know the problems. Or maybe survivor use culture and tradition to cope, as a way to cope. So this reason is found by Kinsey, who worked with Cambodian refugees in the US a lot. Or maybe the Buddhist teaching of love, kindness, compassion, karma, help Cambodian find the meaning of trauma and help them to cope with the problem accordingly. So I look at baksbat from etymological perspective. It's come from, it's compared to a Japanese concept called kyodatsu. So, you know, in the World War II, after the collapse of Japanese emperor declared the defeats, they found that many Japanese society have a sense of kyodatsu, an exhaustion and despair that many Japanese people experience at that time. So some people say it's not the war that destroyed Japan, but it's kyodatsu that could destroy Japan. From ethno-medical perspective, I translate it as a broken courage. And traditional healer think that this is a kind of paiklat. In Khmer term, it's like translated as fear or double fear. So it's more than fear. It's double fear. Or other authors say this is called luh praleng, or the soul get out of the body. Kung Bon Chuen, also a renowned Khmer author, he categorized 42 types of Khmer illness, and baksbat is one of them. And because of baksbat, Cambodians often feel exhausted, passive, reluctant to fight or to resist. That's why I explain why Cambodians, you know, were so easy. The Khmer rules come and tell people to evacuate the city. Just about 1 or 24 hours, the whole Phnom Penh city was empty. So there was no resistance. And there was some symptoms of baksbat I present here. Majority of respondents I talked to, I interview, they say baksbat is paiklat, is kind of fear, or reactions to Rieng Chal. It ceases to do anything. So when they have baksbat, they cease to do anything. Or Khlai being fearful or feeling dread or wishing never to experience the event again. So when they have baksbat, they never want to do something again, to see something again. And some people say baksbat is a loss of courage, and they are not want to confront others. Damdanko, this is a concept that happened in Khmer Rouge time, because everyone need to hide their identity. They need to stay mute, pretend not to hear, to know, to see anything. So when we say Damdanko in Khmer Rouge, we understand that, and we must stop saying, or stop talking, stop expressing. Kopjabal is kind of idea bury. So when people are unable to having baksbat, they are unable to speak about something. So this experience relate to what they call luh praleng, or the soul run out of the body. Or chohnyom, it's become submissive, komsa, cowards. Yeah. So how can we overcome baksbat? What can Japanese treat kyodatsu? Like I said earlier, people, the foreigners say it's not the war that killed Japan, but it kyodatsu that people experience after the war could kill Japanese economy. But Japan did very well. They become the strongest power in economy. How can they do that? So in terms of traditional perspective, they do ceremony to divert danger. So a ceremony to help people, they never see a danger again in the future, that help them deal with baksbat. Calling back the soul, this is a kind of traditional things that I interviews and look at literatures. And because baksbat is believed that the soul get out of the body, so they have a ceremony to call back the soul. But one important thing is prescription of courage, increase democratic space, because people don't want to talk, don't want to hear, don't want to see. How can they challenge? So I think we need to create a democratic space, a space where people can talk freely without threat, intimidations. But this is not easy. And mental health care, approach to mental health care can be helpful to help Cambodian cope with this. So this is some of the activity that TPO do to help to cope with deal with baksbat. So this is me testify in the court against the butcher, Mr. Duch, and TPO counselor here was sitting in the courtroom to support Cambodian victim to testify, to give the courage for them to testify against the Khmer Rouge leader. And this is testimony therapy. It's helped people to tell their trauma story. First, the trauma story is recorded, written into the book, and then read aloud in the public in front of the Buddhist monk or the imam for Muslim people. Yeah, and then the blessing is given after the testimony. Doing so help people, you know, feel relief and feel that they are safe, psychological relief, safety in the future. This is a film-based dialogue to help people understand and discuss about Khmer Rouge. And we have a victim-perpetrator dialogue. We have a session that victim and perpetrator meet and challenge each other. So this is the session where they reconcile after they understand each other. So this is, I want to say about TPO approach. So you can see the Khmer Rouge affect Cambodian at 3 levels: individual, family, and community. So our intervention must be addressed at different levels. So this is the level of intervention at community, at family, at individual. And this is the type of intervention. So at community level, we train key resource people, doing psychoeducation. At family, we do self-help group. Individual counseling, we do counseling and psychiatric treatment. But before the start of activity, we do social context assessment because we are the one from outside. We do not understand what happened in the community. So we need to go to community to assess community about the resource, about problem, how coping mechanisms are. And then we invite resource people to the training program. So this is the training program. So our training offer to community leaders, monks, nuns, traditional healers, and we also offer training to NGO staff and doctor. Here is the activity of our training to community resource people. And after the training, they become our partner who help us working in the community. This is the training that we offer to NGO partner, to government officer, and to health staff. And after the training, like I said, these people become our partner in the community. So then to make people aware, understand of mental health problem, we do psychoeducation. So because people cannot read and write in the community, so we make poster for the people. The people often say, well, don't help us. If you want to help us, give us money, give us food. We will be okay because we are not crazy. And we say, oh, this photo is, mental health is not crazy. So sometimes, you know, people experience different things. For example, poverty, war, disaster, social problems, somebody die, domestic violence. When people experience this, they become anxious, worry, cannot sleep, sad, depressed, or abuse alcohol. So when we say this, they said, wow, everyone have this problem. How can you help me? So we use poster to help raise awareness. So this is other poster. Yeah. And this is awareness raising activity. This is group for children. And then after psychoeducation, we organize a health group. So the group will help us to understand to help the victim survivor of domestic violence to express their feeling, their emotion. Here is the group for alcoholic. And then we have counseling at individual level. This is the counseling session. We do it at our office or at the community. And if people have severe problem, we refer to psychiatrists, so they can come to our clinic. Or we help the health center, the government health center, to set up mental health clinic, so that they can treat the people in the community. So this is our community mental health approach. The challenge, there are so many challenges we face. Firstly, the lack of leadership in mental health. So because of the lack of coordination in different players, everyone work on their own. So that makes it difficult to have a better impact on community. The lack of human and financial resource, because mental health is not the priority among donors and among the government. So that makes our work difficult. The lack of integration of mental health into the public health, and the lack of community mental health service in rural area. So mentally ill patients often put up or lock up or chained or put in the cage. Extreme poverty also make people feel difficulty. They start to migrate or they abuse. The stigma, the problems, because people does not seek help because of the stigma related to mental health. In conclusions, the need of psychological and mental health care in rural Cambodia are huge. And I think, in our opinion, mental health and psychosocial intervention need to be holistic, as we cannot work alone as a mental health worker. We have to work with other partners. We have to work with organizations that provide food, provide income generation to help people with mental health problems improve further. And mental health need to be integrated into the local context. We see that when address mental health and psychosocial issues, it leads to improvement their livelihood, improve economic opportunity, increase access to other basic service. Because poor mental health, people are not able to get job. Poor mental health, people may face injustice or human rights abuse. So when addressing mental health, increase their access to all the service they need. And I think the government and donor should invest more in mental health. Thank you so much for your attention. If you have any question, please feel free to ask. Thank you.